Hey, Think Realty, thanks so much for listening and watching today. I'm always so privileged that you would join us today on the podcast. I'm Eddie Wilson, the founder of Think Realty. Founded in 2013 as a third-generation real estate investor, just to give you content and information that you're not going to find anywhere else. You're not going to find it on CNN, NBC. You're not going to find it on CNBC, Yahoo News. You're going to find it at Think Realty, and that's about it. So we want to help you on your real estate investing journey. Before I get into our great guests that I have lined up for us today, let me say a quick thank you to our podcast sponsor, which is CV3 Financial Services. When you're taking on a new real estate investment project, having a trusted lender is key. Count on CV3 for your fix and flip, rental, cash out, or rate and term refi needs. Visit cv3financial.com/Think Realty. What a great opportunity for you to support those that are supporting us. Please go out and check them out. Our guest today is Isabelle Guarino. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
You have been a part of our world for a while now.
Yeah.
You've spoken at a lot of our conferences, been on our podcast, and I just appreciate the value that you bring real estate investors. Thank you so much.
I love it. You know, actually, I think one of my very first podcasts was at Think Realty with Abby.
Okay.
My dad was there. He's like, I got to go to another event. He's like, but they have you booked for a podcast. Just go do it. And I was like, what? I was terrified.
Really? That's
literally
cool.
It's probably in the archive somewhere.
It is. We have never deleted a podcast. I think we're on like 360 episodes or something like that.
Yeah,
so
well,
back in the day, Abby, was the host, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
I have to go check that out.
You'll have to find it. It's there somewhere.
We should play it tomorrow before you speak at the conference.
Please
this
don't.
is Isabelle years ago.
Cringe.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you're on, and as you know, many of our viewers and listeners, they are those that are really getting into real estate investing. Maybe they have a couple of rental properties. Maybe they still have their W-2 job, they're high income earners, and then you got like the top 20% that's maybe they own multifamily and things like that.
Yeah.
But so many of them are in the phase of life that I watched you just recently go through.
Yeah.
You were the integrator or like the operations person for your father's company, which was the Residential Assisted Living Academy and the whole the RAL world. You guys had all kinds of companies. And you were the person that was operating it, putting it all together. And then now, in the passing of your father, have stepped into the visionary.
Yeah.
What was it like to go from everything flows through you, every little piece is so dictated and mandated by you, to now moving into the visionary role?
Honestly, other than, there's a whole component of it where I didn't realize that emotionally I'm grieving my father, but I'm also grieving my job.
Sure.
I found a lot of purpose and passion in what I was doing, and then to be still in the same company, but completely different requirements of me, responsibilities, my day-to-day looked different. It was like, oh my God, like I miss my old gig. So there's that emotional component, but then also I think of all of the day-to-day, like as an integrator or an operations manager, you're taught to think in bullet points, think a problem comes and it's like, okay, how do I solve it? How do I go about this?
Let's get through this,
Then to be like, now you need to go dream. You need to just go throw things at the wall and not tell yourself no and just let them fly. It was like, I didn't know how to do that.
Sure.
Even though I had it in me, like on the little visionary integrator test, I test really highly in both. But I'd been stopping myself for so long from dreaming. It took me almost a full year to just really get comfortable with throwing things out there to my team and allowing them to say, okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to go forward with it, and me to trust them and not tell them how to do it, just tell them the what, just tell them this is what I want to happen at the end.
Was it just as hard for whoever stepped into that role as it was for you, because you had high standards? Like if I went around the nation and they said, who do you know that's one of the best integrators you know, I would have said Isabelle Guarino, right? Like you were a rock star integrator, you know? And so I'm sure the down pressure on whoever you put in that role was tough.
Yes, we went through a couple of people in that role because
rightfully so.
It's genuinely my fault. Like I didn't know how to teach and train them to work with me. And I wanted to do all their job for them. So that was really tough. But eventually we did find an amazing girl who really just took the time to learn and know me and kind of rose within the ranks in the company and became an asset to everyone along the way, which I think was another big thing. Everyone on the team was kind of like, well, we trust you, we look to you for this. So to ask them to look to someone else, they were like, they don't know what they're doing. So they needed to learn to trust this person. And so it took the whole team a minute to really bring her in that role, but once it happened, it was a really beautiful transition, and now she's thriving, amazing. Sure. I trust her with everything, and it's been working out really well. But it took a while to really get her to step up to that and get the team to surround her and rally with her on that.
Yeah. So if I'm sitting here listening, viewing, this podcast, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm thinking about a transition. Okay, how do I go out of this W-2 job and I'm an engineer, or I'm a dentist, or I'm a doctor, and I'm going to go into real estate investing?
Yeah.
How much of real estate investing is dreaming, is finding the deal and seeing the value? And I mean, does this translate, like what you're going through and becoming the visionary? Is that what they have to do too?
I mean, I think so for a little bit, because when you are in that 9 to 5, you are building someone else's dream. And now it's your dream to build. And what is that dream? Is it buying you time freedom, money freedom, an ability to donate $1 million, time to spend with your kids, whatever it is, you need to really dream on what do you actually want? And then what form of real estate investing can get you there? Because you can make money a whole lot of ways, and real estate investing is an incredible way to make money, but which one of those helps you tick your boxes the most? And if you can't allow yourself to dream without shooting it down, the sky is the limit. So you really do just have to kind of give yourself that freedom to be an Imagineer and just go crazy with the ideas.
And then how do you translate into, I'm imagining it, but I have enough confidence to actually do it, right? Because when you go from like making somebody else's dreams come true, if it fails, it's still kind of on them.
It's them.
When it's on you, how can you find the confidence to like, okay, I'm going to take my dream and we're going to actually take our entire team and act on it?
Yeah.
It's scary.
It is very scary to have it all be on you 100%. So if anyone is feeling that way, it's extremely valid, because that is what it's like. It's like jumping off the cliff and not knowing what's going to happen. And especially when you have employees or independent contractors relying on you to get the job done. So it is terrifying. It is normal to feel that way. But I also think it's one of those things that if you don't do it and you die regretting that you never did it, come on, it is so worth it to just make it happen. And I think that one of the key things you can do, no matter what form of real estate you want to do, is get a mentor, get a coach, join a mastermind. There's so many incredible resources out there, and surrounding yourself with people who know what they're doing, who've been there, who you can go to when a trouble comes up. They're going to get that. Your employee is not going to be able to think like you think. You need to talk to someone else who's at that high decision-making level, who's been in that risk-taking position before, who can guide you through it.
I think that is all very, very relevant and applicable to everyone listening and viewing today. You obviously have a very specific way that you see the real estate investing world. And so as they're kind of looking at their opportunities, let's talk about what it is that you teach, because you went from making your father's dreams come true and making the team work to now you're the person on stage, right? Like you are the person that's talking and educating and investing in this type of real estate investing. So talk to me about what it is that you're kind of always talking about, and what is this opportunity of RAL?
Yeah, I am definitely the RAL residential assisted living gal. I love to talk about it. My dad taught and trained me on this for almost 8 years, and we've continued for the last 2 years sharing with investors and entrepreneurs how to start, own, and operate their own care homes for seniors. To be honest, in this crazy market where real estate's so expensive, it's hard to make other forms of single-family investing work right now. Single-family rentals, the margins are tight. Even Airbnbs, the margins are tight. So it's really one of those opportunities where the cost of care for assisted living has gone up 84% over the last 20 years. They just released the 2023 numbers of the average cost of care in our country, and it's $5,350 per person per month. That's average. So it includes our friends on government funding, and it includes all of our private pay friends. So, someone like us who we're saying, I'm not going to put my parent in an average home. We might be paying 10 grand out of pocket to put our loved ones in, a care home or facility. So the cost of care goes up, the cost of real estate goes up. It matches. We've gone through 2 recessions where we haven't been hit as an industry. If I'm talking real estate investment opportunities, something that's nothing is recession proof, but quite recession resistant, this makes a whole lot of sense.
So talk to me about the model, because it's so interesting you're talking about this specifically, because everybody that I've been speaking to recently, we need to stop talking about cash flow, right? Like cash flow isn't the market we're in right now. the interest rates are too high for cash flow. Like it's like almost every investment opportunity out there, it's like a bad word to talk about cash flow now. It's like when I was growing up I'm third generation real estate. My grandfather's been talking to me about cash flow I'm 40, probably all 40 years, And so now it's like cash flow is a bad word. We have to play for appreciation or a 30-year, window.
Yeah.
And you talk about the exact opposite.
Oh yeah, we are still cash flowing and cash flowing well. I can absolutely afford a 10K mortgage on a home because I'm bringing in 55,000, gross. My expenses are high. They are high in assisted living, but still that one home cash flows me 10 grand a month. So who else can buy a home with that high of a mortgage and still make it cash flow?
Yeah.
It's not happening, it is for us every single day.
And I've heard you say that number before, like I can buy a residential assisted living house, not some big facility.
No.
It's a home. It's a large home.
It's a home.
And in that home, I can make $10,000 a month, cash flow, like free and clear.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
And your students are doing this.
All over the country. We have students who, in Arizona, we're limited to 10 residents. And depending on where you are across the country, it ranges between 6 and 16 residents in a home. So our states where you can have 14, 15, 16 residents, they're making 30, 40 grand a month, especially if they're doing luxury homes. So I don't usually promote that because people are like pie in the sky. I'll never make that. Then they come to our training and meet Heather and Greg who are like, we cruise, 52 weeks of the year. They're literally never home. And they cash flow 35 grand a month on their care home in Tennessee. It's just like, it's happening
on one home.
On one home.
Wow.
One home, 16 residents. So it is happening all over the country. There is nothing stopping us. Interest rates, inflation, politics, it does not matter because the reality is, we're all aging. As much as we want to stop it.
Right. I would love to stop it.
I would love to stop it, right? But it's happening. We can't stop it. If you lose your job, it really doesn't matter. Grandma's still aging.
Right.
If the interest rates are high, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Grandpa still needs care.
And the amount of people coming into that space is massive.
Insane. Right? 76 million baby boomers.
Wow. I just read a stat the other day that said 15 million baby boomers will leave they own businesses and will walk away from their businesses in the next 7 years. 15 million. That's crazy.
And I know you, the exit king, you were like, gold, gold.
You're like, I'll buy them all. Yeah, for sure. But it's crazy. It's like the population is aging.
Yeah.
We have the largest segment of the population aging, and they're going to need this.
Absolutely. The reality is I don't really care what form of senior housing you get started in, but most of the people listening are real estate investors, so this makes a whole lot of sense. But if you want to open a diaper business, a home health agency, a hospice, whatever you want, this is the time to get involved. It's kind of like AI and tech. It's like we're at the beginning of a dot-com boom. If you don't get involved, you're going to get left behind.
Awesome.
Same thing with senior housing.
And it's also servicing a need, right? Like it's not just about taking advantage of the opportunity. It's also really creating a service that is needed. I read a stat recently of how underserved our senior population is from a housing perspective, right? Like, and I had a friend who was looking for a place for his mother, and his entire area was completely sold out. Couldn't find a place for her. Ended up buying a single unit, like it was like a residential apartment type building, a condo. On the ground floor, he pays for full-time nursing. Like he had to create it himself.
Yeah,
it's wild.
And she's isolated because now she's living alone.
No one. It's so crazy.
I think we're currently 1.3 million beds short.
Wow.
And the silent generation, 44 million of them, right? Not all still alive, but that's who's in assisted living. Baby boomers are coming in the next 10, 20 years, right? That is a huge influx of seniors, and we don't have enough beds. So people always ask, like, well, why do you train on this? Why don't you just keep all the money to yourself? And it's like, I could train every person I've ever met in my whole life how to do this. We still wouldn't have enough beds. This is a actual crisis in our country that is going to affect every single person that we know for the next 20 years.
Do you always, your dad, when he would teach, you'd always put up the picture of the Golden Girls? Do you still do that?
Oh yeah, because people think it's that. They're like, oh, just put some grandmas in a home and they'll have fun, and it's like, no,
that's not how this works.
You don't move into assisted living for funsies, right? Like you move in because you need help getting out of bed. You need help eating or brushing your hair, or whatever the case is, if you have any left.
That's so good. Well, we do not have any time left, and that went really fast, but I really appreciate you being on the show.
Happy to be
How
here.
do they find out more about residential assisted living?
You know, going to RAL101.com is a great place to grab a free webinar, free book, connect with me or the team, and you can follow us on all the little social platforms at RAL Academy.
And I love, you do such a fantastic job on social. It's humorous, it's fun, it's educational.
Thank
So
you.
they need to follow you on TikTok and Instagram and all the things, right?
Yeah, we're having fun.
Cool, awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of our world. Thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you for supporting our events. You guys are awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you so much, Think Realty, for listening today. We appreciate it. If there's ever anything that we can do to better serve you, please let us know. A quick thank you to our podcast sponsor, which is CV3 Financial Services. When you're taking on a new real estate investment project, have a trusted lender. That's key because CV3 can help you with your fix and flip, rental, cash out, rate and term refi needs. Visit cv3financial.com/Think Realty. Also, a lot of the private lenders you're using right now, they will actually fund these residential assisted living houses. And I would really highly recommend you going to RAL101.com, check it out, find out more about it. If you're a real estate investor, you owe it to yourself. Make sure you understand what's out there, make great decisions, find great opportunities to invest in. Thanks so much for being a podcast listener and viewer today. Have a great day.